Justice, according to the dictionary, is fairness, impartiality, the administration of the law. Justice, according to my nervous system, is a little more negotiable. Hi, I'm Anjali. And this is my trail to justice. For most of my life, justice meant to me the courtroom, the law, in legal briefs and long footnotes and carefully crafted arguments about accountability and harm. Soon after I made the decision to become a lawyer, the professional, my work with survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, became personal. And suddenly, justice felt less like a concept or even a clear endpoint. And it felt more like a giant question mark, lodged deep somewhere between my ribs. In my search for what justice might look like for me, I tried a lot of things. Silence, advocacy, movement, rage. At one point, I even took my assaulter out to dinner, genuinely believing that if I could help him understand the harm he caused, if I could just get him to apologize, if I could offer him a human moment of reflection, something inside me might finally settle. It did not. He did not offer me anything. But it did teach me something important. It taught me that justice is not always about making someone else feel remorse. Sometimes, like it is for me, it's about learning how to feel at home in your own body again. And for me, that didn't happen in courtrooms. I came back to a place that had been familiar to me all my life, to the mountains. Not to conquer them, not even to find answers, but to listen. To listen to what my body remembered, to what it needed, to what it was still capable of. And somewhere between the courtroom and the ridgeline, between survivor and advocate, I realized I was no longer asking what justice is supposed to look like on paper. I was asking what it might feel like to reclaim my own power. And then I arrived here, where, for some survivors, the fight for justice has taken a lifetime. Alberto Fujimori, president of Peru from 1990 to 2000, has a deeply controversial legacy. While he's remembered for fighting hyperinflation and the Shining Path insurgency, policies that some credit with stabilizing the country, he's also remembered for corruption, human rights abuses, government crackdowns, and the forced sterilization of thousands of Indigenous and rural women under a state-run family planning program.
Mujeres esterilizadas, 300,000 mujeres esterilizadas y 200,000 varones. Inairikään naavaan unaimmat isun hastaa näitä ja unaimasuuden hastaa ja unana itäiselle jäämättä
Many of those procedures lacked true consent. Coercion, deception, pressure, sometimes while women were in labor, sometimes just after birth. Promises of social aid, food, care, promises that were never kept.
Dijeron animar, pues me dijeron que nos van a ayudar con algo. Y ahí pues nos trajeron a Huancabamba, me ligaron allí y no se acordaron ya pues con nada.
For those women, justice starts with something incredibly simple, but incredibly hard to get. The truth being acknowledged. Truth for them is justice, or at least the first step towards it. But for others, justice also means accountability.
Buscamos esta justicia, que haya justicia y reparación para nuestra vida. Ahora nos dejaron incapacitando nuestra media vida y ahorita no pudimos hacer nada.
No acá estaré que pueden la país no ramo mate no pude que mani canti. Ati ha ulti dame ya está. No ya tuyuye no appo hoy ni ka stoki.
One name has come to stand for this courtroom fight: Celia Edith Ramos Durand. In 1997, she was sterilized under Fujimori's program in Catacoas, Piura, despite having repeatedly expressed refusal. She was promised safe care. Instead, she emerged from surgery in critical condition. She died 19 days later.
Era una mujer fuerte. Podía hacerlo todo.
But the story didn't end there. In 2023, after years of struggle, the case of Ramos Durand et al. Was accepted by the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. In May 2025, the first international hearing took place. For the first time, the state of Peru is being asked to answer publicly, legally, for a crime that crosses generations.
Ya casi son 3 décadas que mamá falleció. Esperamos que se conozca la verdad, que se reconozca la verdad de lo que pasó. Y que se haga justicia, que se abra una investigación real con todos los datos con los que se cuenta, y que el Estado reconozca y repare de acuerdo a la afectación que nosotros tuvimos.
Survivors and their families are not just asking for compensation. They are asking for truth, for acknowledgement, for systemic change, for a future where no woman's body is ever treated like state policy again. And as the court listens in its language, I return to another kind of justice, one lived, carried, and climbed. The mountains don't erase pain. They hold it. They hold the stories of everyone who has walked before you. And in Peru, it felt like the women's stories were climbing with me. Not separate, not distant, like we were climbing together. I feel an immense gratitude to be here in Peru, to exist in these mountains that hold so much strength, and to walk alongside all of the amazing advocates and survivors I have met so far. Every night I read their words in my tent. They have used our bodies. What a thirst for justice. These women had climbed mountains of politics, of fear, of silence, shame, retribution. Their strength is in the air, in the snow, in the rocks. And for a moment, climbing becomes a witness, a recognition, a small act of justice in motion. I am grateful to the women who shared their stories, to the mountains that hold them, and to Peru for letting me feel that connection. Justice isn't a single act. It's not one verdict. It's truth acknowledged, voices heard, power reclaimed, and the courage to keep climbing together.